For you all to be here. This is going to be the Statewide Youth Advocacy Conference FAQ webinar. So basically, throughout this whole thing, this is just the preliminary webinar to where we're giving an introduction to what this event is all about, what you can expect. And we do have a good amount of a couple of videos just to kind of get you all inspired so you have those expectations clear coming into this space. Just to introduce us, this is our team. If you haven't met us all, my name is Ignacio Burgos, and I also have a couple other team members in this space. I'll go ahead and let them introduce themselves real quick.
Sorry, I spotlighted you and then I don't know where I went, but I assume you can all see me. Hi everyone. My name is Jocelyn. I am the administrative program specialist and I am in charge of a lot of the logistics. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I'm in charge of the logistics for the Statewide Youth Advocacy Conference, so you will be hearing a lot from me in terms of communication. So I'm excited for anyone who's here and who is new. It's going to be a lot of info, but we are recording this and I will be sending it out to you all so you can have it to reference back on.
And I'm
All
Vicki
right,
Webster. I'm the managing director.
perfect. Thank you, Vicky. And I add you as a spotlight just for a moment so people can see you as well. All right, so I'll go ahead and continue. So all right. The first thing that we're going to be talking about is what is this event all about? So first of all, this is a event that's all about getting young people prepared for social norm change campaigns. And the way that we present that opportunity to them is by really prioritizing a lot of actual hands-on practice. So that is going to be the majority of the time and the priority that we're going to put into this space. We do have opportunities for learning to where we're doing lectures, we're offering trainings, but only more so that's going to be to introduce a concept, introduce some skills, and then we go out to put it into practice. The other thing that your youth and you all as coordinators are going to be learning to do is actually participating in coalition building, what that looks like, what's involved in those steps, what it looks like to partner with community members and bring people together around a collective cause. That's something that they have to do in the real world, and that is something we will simulate or replicate within the event space as well. But something that we do also really value is the fact that this is also an experience, right? This is a lot of work, and we do want you all to kind of have that expectation, not just for yourselves, but also for your youth. This is definitely a skill building conference. However, we do want to also make space for rest, for relationship building, for people to also enjoy the space so that they do have that opportunity as well. So one of the main things that we incorporate into this is a community norm change activity. And so what that involves is what's called a LARPing. If people haven't heard of that, that's live action role playing. So basically after the first day, once we get everyone involved or updated on the event logistics, what the expectations are, giving them the information of what they can expect to experience throughout the days that are going to be involved with this event. After that first day, we're basically going to be moving into training, and then a lot of us in the space are going to be taking on roles. And throughout the event, we can be engaged with as community members, as decision makers, as people that are leading other organizations, such as like the American Lung Association. And that is a way to provide a safe immersion so that the young people here, the youth advocates, are able to practice this in a safe environment to where they can, right, mess up and it's okay. They can learn through this process without the fear of, I guess, those other consequences that might happen in the real world, right? So we want to provide a safe space for that so that they can have more capacity for the learning and experimentation. But as I said, the main flow from day to day, because we keep that consistent, is going to be starting your day off with sort of an energizer, getting sort of welcomed into the space. Then we have a learning session. Then we put it into action with the action session. And we always provide some space for debrief. And that's going to be something that we facilitate. We come back together. And after that, we provide space for that fun activities for people to just have a moment to decompress again, because these are long days, but we don't want to overwork everyone in the space as well. So usually along the process, these are going to be the sort of activities that your youth partners are going to be participating in. On the first day, or the first actual day, is going to be learning how to conduct data collection. So actually walking around the environment, which is going to become a whole community, right? We're going to have a store, we're going to have a park, we're going to have other walkways and dining areas so that they can practice doing observations, not just in the tobacco retail space, but also in the environmental space of how we can document tobacco waste, how we can document where people are using and where people or young people are gaining access to products, right? Because that's a very important piece so that they can work towards building that next step, a strategy, right? So in that strategy building process, they're going to be learning who are the decision makers, who are the ones that are going to be more or less likely to be able to be partners and be able to help with the process to create the change in the community. Beyond that, we also want to provide opportunities for other activities, such as participating in sort of media campaigns. And also, I believe we also do I forgot what it's called. I'm blanking on the name, a PSA, right? So that's going to be something that they can do, or even write a sort of a newsletter or letter to the editor. And all these things will be able to actually provide a showcase for this. So it's all going to be implemented and integrated with the experience of going through the social norm campaign, and also the sense of this is all happening in the community. This is something that we're sharing to, again, build sort of community engagement and also that community change. The culmination of the event is going to be the final presentation to our decision makers, the city council, and I think we have a mixture of the council and also a tribal council, right? So both of those are going to be taking place on the same day in the morning on Thursday. And the reason why we have those together is because we want everyone to understand different types of governance. We want them to have exposure to this so that that's going to be something that could be in the back of their mind, whether they're specifically going to be working with tribal governance or with city or county governance, or opportunities for also collaboration as well. So they'll have an understanding of that. And we really do feel like that's very important, not just for inclusion, but also, again, for that exposure aspect. The fun activities that will be present on site, because this is a campground, so there is a lot to do. So whether that is going to be a lot of space to do sports, we bring the supplies, so you don't have to worry about anything, but you're welcome to bring whether it's board games, things that your youth might be more interested in. By all means, you can bring that into space if you have space to store it in your vehicle or in the cabins. But we do bring usually frisbees. Soccer is pretty popular when young people are involved with the sports, and as well as volleyball. And we also do, I believe, we bring a football as well. Beyond that, outside of sports, there's also a lot of opportunities for going on trails and hiking. We will provide more information on that for the coordinator webinar about safety protocols, how to make sure that we're making sure that our youth partners have access to that, but that we are also accompanying them, or we have sort of a process to make sure everyone's being safe and coming back, at a decent time based on the schedule. There's also a swimming pool. And just to check in, Vicky, I know sometimes they've had to do maintenance on the pool. Is the pool going to be accessible for this year? I just want to
So
confirm that.
far, I believe so. I will check in. I know that they were trying to do some work on it, but I'll check in on that.
All right. So we will confirm that, but there is a pool on site, and even with that, they have lifeguards, or sometimes we request support from some of the coordinators as well. And then the last bit is there's a lot of board games, card games there. Any other activities, whether that's coming from the youth partners in the space, if they have ideas for just fun quick games that they'd like to play. Or sometimes us as staff, we might initiate something as well based on someone's request or kind of how we're feeling. Um, just anytime during that fun time, we just really try to make it a welcoming, awesome space for everyone to, be able to engage with one another. Right. And every night we do have a sort of specific scheduled social activity that will happen after dinner. On the first night, to kind of have a nice, soft welcoming, we always include an ice cream social. This is a great way for us to not really have any of those expectations, but still be in the same space with everyone before we, end the evening and go into starting the actual social norm change campaign process. And then I believe the second night we have a campfire circle where usually we're having campfire games, we're doing songs. We do have a couple of popular games that we play that might include Black Magic, if anyone's heard of that. It's always very immersive and fun, sort of deduction game. And then we also have a game that we play, Werewolf, which is equivalent of like Mafia. That's another one that gets a lot of popularity. Um, but depending on what kind of emerges in the space, sometimes other youth partners might come. They might bring their instruments and sing and sort of initiate songs themselves. It's really an open format. We have some things dedicated, but it's more so that we, in case there's nothing happening, we know that this is a plan that we can follow through with, but we are open to anything else that the youth that in the space want to lead with too. The last day before we actually do our the council member presentation, we do a town hall and that PSA showcase that I was talking about. This is a great opportunity for your youth partners to really show any of the creative things that they have come up with, that they've developed. This is a time for us to really circle around that, to view it, have fun with it, and celebrate some of those projects as well. All right. And throughout all of this, right, what is your role? What are the things that we are asking of you? What are our expectations for the adult coordinators in this space? Right. So first and foremost, we really want you to be there to support your youth. Um, one, through this process, because it is a lot that your youth partners are learning, but we also want you to acknowledge that you're probably going to be learning a lot of these skills as well. Maybe for the first time, maybe as a refresher, but it is a lot of information that's going to be coming to you. So as the adult, do your best to provide that safe space, that vulnerability, right? If you don't know something, or if you're having challenges, likelihood your youth partners are having challenges. So really encourage them to seek help and also model that yourself, but help them through that process. And we will prepare you with that. I think on the first day, we'll provide a little bit of a introduction sort of hour session to where we're going to go through the binder with all the information, the process, what to expect, so that you kind of have that information beforehand so you can be a better partner for your youth who are going to be coming into this a little more on the blind side. The other thing that we're asking you is, we, the staff, we are only, a handful of people, and we do have some volunteers from our college board or the youth board that are coming to the space as well. But this is a collective effort. So the more that we can have your support in facilitating activities, so whether that is more on the fun activities, model that, jump in, join in, help us out where we might sort of request that support, or if you see sort of a gap where we might need a little help to kind of, I guess, maintain the energy in the space, help us out with that. But also with the information, the education, if there's something that you are knowledgeable about, feel free to jump in and provide that support to other coordinators in the space too, right? So we want to just kind of have that mentality of this is a collective effort so that we can all have a positive experience. We will do everything that we can to prepare everyone, but again, we are a small staff that's doing all of this for a lot of people. The other or the last expectation that we have is kind of along those same lines of collective responsibility. The campgrounds also, they're providing support but they also need some help to provide a positive experience. So we need help with we need your support to chaperone the cabins, make sure that everyone is going to bed at responsible hour, because there are some considerations that we have since this campground is in the middle of residences. So we do have to worry about the noise. We do have to make sure that we are being respectful of that space in general as well, and other people in the space in general. So making sure everyone's practicing safety and responsibility during those hours. And we might ask you and have sign up sheets for volunteers. And that might be to chaperone the pool, to help out with certain activities, but mainly for volunteering for food service. Because again, the camp staff, they're volunteering their time as students. They're going to be cooking the meals, but again, they have limited staff, so we will need some help to serve to sort of expedite that process so that the staff also is able to relax and eat and be able to take those breaks as well. Before I continue on and I pass the torch to Jocelyn, are there any questions that anyone has so far? All right. All right. I will go ahead and pass it to you, Jocelyn.
Thank you, Ignacio. Okay, everyone, I'm going to go over some logistics and I'll also have a moment at the end of the slides to ask if you have any questions before I move on to registration steps. But first, let's just go over some basic stuff like where the conference is going to be. So we are having it at the Happy Valley Conference Center at 2159 Branson Fort Drive. And so we are tucked into the redwoods in Santa Cruz. So it's a really nice area. It's very shady, but like Ignacio was saying, we are also located in like a valley. So it's very interesting how sound works there. We have some residential houses across the street. But for the most part, it feels pretty like um, it feels nice and isolated, like you are surrounded by the trees. And then I did include a clip of a little walkthrough I took last year, so you'll be able to get more of a feel for what's in store at the conference center. And of course, we have all this information on our website, and I will be sending reminders with addresses and all of that. Okay, as far as the time and the dates go, we would like you to arrive on Monday, July 13th. Check-in will be from 2 to 3:30 p.m. and we will have more details in the coordinator webinar once that time gets closer. But just so that you have an idea of when this is taking place, it is Monday, July 13th through Thursday, July 16th. But on Thursday, we do depart by 1 p.m. And I say by 1 p.m. because we would like you not to depart sooner. We do have a closing activity that happens on Thursday, so it's very important that we see it through and so that the youth feel like they, completed everything and they get to leave the site just with some form of closure. And then we also asked that you don't leave throughout the conference. We really want you, if you sign up for the conference, to be dedicated to these days. So that is again Monday, July 13th through Thursday, July 16th. Monday arriving at 2 and by anywhere from 2 to 3:30 and then depart by 1 p.m. on Thursday. And if for some reason you're going to check in a little bit later on Monday, just reach out and let me know. Sometimes I know with like the driving or train schedules or something, like I know it can get a little wild with the time. So if you reach out to me, we can work something out. Okay, now getting to and from Santa Cruz. If you are flying into Santa Cruz, we ask that you fly into the San Jose airport because we will have a shuttle waiting for you there. The shuttle will leave the airport by 2 p.m. So if you are coordinating your travel, just make sure you have enough time to meet the shuttle, to walk over to the shuttle. Um, I believe it usually meets around like outside of a terminal, but again, I will reach out with more details if you are flying into San Jose. And then for those who are taking the train or deciding to drive, same thing with the train. We have a shuttle that meets people at the Diridon Amtrak station in San Jose. So just make sure if you want to take the shuttle, that you are traveling into that train station. And we just ask that no one under 18 drive themselves to the conference center. But there is a gated parking lot for those who are driving their own shuttle or their own car. Okay, some more accommodations. We have meals that are served in the dining hall. Like Ignacio covered, we do ask that adult partners volunteer to serve 1 to 2 meals. You'd be surprised the sign up sheet gets filled up pretty fast, I would say. Like we put sign up sheets on the first day and like a few hours into it, I look over and it's already all the slots are full. So some people are very eager to volunteer and serve meals. So that is up for grabs if you want to do that. And then for meals, we do have some dietary options like vegetarian, vegan, dairy-free, and gluten-free options. However, you will only be counted for that if you list it on your registration form, and I'll go into that in a bit. But if you are not putting that you are vegetarian, we will not have a vegetarian meal for you. So it's very important that you list that wherever it asks for any dietary preferences, that you put that there. And cabins. So we do stay in cabins. Coalitions stick together. Usually, if you're a small coalition or only coming with a few people, we group you with other coalitions that may also have only a couple people. But we make sure to group by gender. And in cases where the coordinator is a different gender from their youth, we will pair them up with maybe youth that need a coordinator of the same gender. So that's how we do that. And then for cell phone use, we do have Wi-Fi on the at the conference site, but we only share it with the coordinators for cases of emergencies or if the coordinators need to use their phone for work purposes. But since we're only sharing it with the adults, we also ask that adults be okay with their youth coming to them and, if they need to get in contact with their parents back home, any guardians, that open up that space for them to do so. And then they are always welcome to come up to any of the CYAN staff or the office at the conference center also has a landline if any youth need to make a call home. And when we ask that they keep their cell phones in the cabins or any electronics in the cabins, just so that there's less distractions, because when you're so in tune into your phone, you don't really get a chance to be in tune with what's around you, right? So, and then of course, like lead by example, coordinators, if your youth are paying attention in a presentation, we ask that again, you lead by example and maybe put the phone away if you're not doing anything like work related. Yeah, so that's how that is going. And then we do have Hazel. She's been our nurse for the past, I don't know how many years. She's wonderful. She is on site, and Hazel is allowed to give like just your general like first aid type of stuff, like there is like poison something out there. Is it oak, ivy? I don't know, but there's
Yeah.
something that she
Poison.
can.
Oak.
Is it oak? Okay, it's the
Yeah.
poison oak. Hazel is very, she knows how to handle that. And as far as any other things like EpiPens, if you know that your youth have an EpiPen or have severe allergies, please remind them to bring their EpiPens. We will not have any on site, so it's important that they bring their own. And any medications that you or your youth are taking, bring those with you, but we cannot and neither can Hazel administer any of those prescription medications. But there is a hospital only 10 minutes away and a fire station only 1 mile away from the conference center. So that's always good to know that we are close to that if need be. It hasn't happened though. Okay, and then now I'm going to move on to registration steps, but I'm also going to allow for some questions about the logistics if anyone has any. If not, and then we can save them for later. Just gonna allow a few moments. No? Okay. Okay, moving on to registration steps. So, the first step you want to do, if you are interested in coming to the conference, we want you to register your coalition through the SurveyMonkey link. This link can be found on our website. It is also provided here, and then I can also um, provide it in the chat. I'll provide it at the end. But yes, and then there's also QR code. So the coalition will be registered through this first step. And then once you register your coalition through this first step, which is due June 6th, so you have about a month to complete that. That is when I will reach out to you and give you the next steps for youth registration. For those of you who have already registered your coalition, I will be sending out an email by end of week on instructions on how to register your youth. Oh, and then financial scholarships. We do have financial scholarships available on an as-needed basis. And when you register your coalition on this first step, there is a question, I believe it's question 16, yes, that asks if you will be requiring any financial aid to help you come to the event. If you mark yes, I will reach out to you to follow up on that. And of course, it's an as needed basis. We can't really determine who will get what until we know how many people are requesting it. So if you're kind of thinking that you might need some, I believe there is also um, an option to put unsure, and then I will still follow up with you if you mark unsure. Okay, so after you complete step one, step two will be youth registration. This is where I will reach out to you with a unique Google Sheet link where you will go in and input your youth's information, and then we will consider them registered for the event. This registration sheet will ask about their names, gender for room assignments, what grade they will be in fall of 2026. We will need their shirt size and dietary restrictions. And then the little clicking thing is for me for when I receive your paperwork. But yeah, you are allowed to bring 2 adults and 5 youth. If for whatever reason you need to bring 3 adults or more than 5 youth, please reach out to me and we will put you on the wait list. And step two is due June 19th. And I will have all of these deadlines in a little list as well. Okay, and then step three, your final step is just to turn in the forms. And this step is due by June 26th. So in that same email that I send out the youth registration link, you will find a link to a Google Drive that will house the youth registration packet as well as your adult packet. And we also have that stuff in Spanish. And you can either fill it out digitally or you can fill it out by hand and then take a picture of it and send it to me. But anything you send will go directly back to me, and then I will make note that you filled it in once you send it to me. Okay, and then for those of you who are wondering, these are all the deadlines. These are important deadlines. So we have June 5th is step one, and June 19th is step two with the Google Sheet. And then step three is June 26th. That's when we will need your forms by. So feel free to take a picture of this. Again, I'll be sending out a ton of emails, so I will be reminding you all of these deadlines. Okay.
Joanna drove slowly into the city. The Hudson River all filled with snow. She spied the ring eyes on her finger. Oh, 1,000 years in one piece of silver. She took it from
Sorry if that was a jump scare. I forgot it plays right away. That was a video that one of our youth made a couple years ago. Her name's Luciana. Um, I love that video. I need to show it every time. I feel like it truly just captures the essence of the conference, and I love it so much. I did a little walkthrough of the conference site if you haven't been there already. And that's the next video that's going to play. And that one's not as exciting, but you'll get an idea. So these are the cabins. Unfortunately, I did not record the inside of the cabin. I need to do that this year. But this is what we're working with. And then, like I said, we are nestled in the redwood trees, and there's really nice walking paths to go down. Um, every morning, you will be walking down this path to meet at the dining hall, which is just a short walk away. I sped this up a little bit. Let's see.
Hello.
And it's really nice. There's this bridge that overlooks a little stream down below. And if you could see, straight ahead is where we usually line up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then once I cross this bridge, you can see where there's just really big open land where people play football and soccer and all the different sports. And this is the outside dining area for those who want to eat outside. There's the pool. And yeah, I think that was it. Okay, and now I'm gonna open it up to any questions you all may have.